Folks, we have a literal taxation without representation moment going on right now. As we know, Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva was duly elected. Her election results have been certified, and more than 813,000 people in Arizona said, that's who we want to represent us in Washington, D.C. The constituents have spoken loudly and clearly. And now, regardless of the government being shut down, it doesn't mean that your taxes stop. It doesn't mean that the full weight of the consequences of being citizens in the United States stops. So like I said, it's a taxation without representation moment. And let's talk about, before we get into the lawsuit that's now been brought by Adelita Grijalva, Congresswoman-elect, sadly, is the way we have to still call her that title, as well as the Arizona Attorney General, Chris Mace. Let's talk about what she, as in Congresswoman Grijalva, isn't able to do. And it's pretty freaking wild. So she's a member-elect, as I just said. That's her title. She can only enter the U.S. Capitol as a tourist. As a tourist. And I don't mean like one of those tourists from January 6th. Those were insurrectionists. Congresswoman Grijalva can only enter the Capitol as a tourist, and she has not been allocated a budget as a congresswoman. Why? Because she hasn't been sworn in yet. She also has not been able to access her work computer because she doesn't have the proper passwords. I shit you not. I mean, it's so comical that you kind of have to laugh, but then you groan out of the sheer weight of the absurdity of this moment. Because we're not dumb. We know why House Speaker Mike Johnson refuses, and when I say refuse, I want to emphasize refuses to swear in Adelita Grijalva into her official capacity as a congresswoman. Let's think about the consequences. Once she's sworn in, she will be the deciding vote on the discharge petition brought by Ro Khanna and Tom Massey, a bipartisan move, for the full release of the Epstein Files in order to circumvent and end run the bullshit that's been coming from law-lackey of convicted felon Pamela Jo Bondi. As we know, that congressional subpoena from the House Oversight Committee, compliance has been in drips and drabs, and truly, the only stuff we've been getting really has been from the Epstein estate. And we'll get to that at another time. But we know that Congresswoman-elect Grijalva will be that deciding signature on that discharge petition. And despite what recent kind of grandstanding political theory we've seen from the Republicans about how credible information, confirms that there's nothing implicating Donald Trump, with all due respect, I think each and every American who has an interest and a desire to figure that out for themselves, they should have access to the full Epstein Files, because we can use our critical thinking skills, at least those of us that have them, we can use them. Okay, but here's the thing. Let me tell you something else that maybe you don't know. Democrats are anticipated to win another vacant House seat in the upcoming weeks. On November 4th, there will be a vote to fill the seat of Congressman Sylvester Turner, a Democrat from Texas, who unexpectedly passed away. May he rest in peace. And that is, as of right now, and I have to say as of right now because it's Texas and we all know the total redistricting fuckery they've been doing there, it's still in a heavily Democratic district. And so we reasonably anticipate the Dems picking up another seat. If Democrats win in that special election, then the GOP's majority in the House would actually be reduced, and it would end up being a 219 to 215 margin, which means that Mike Johnson could only lose one Republican defector on any vote. It's a pretty interesting proposition, right? If you think about it. So not having Congresswoman-elect Grijalva in her official capacity, that counts. It has all been reduced to a numbers game, unfortunately, at this point, because we don't have a decided majority as Democrats in the Senate or the House. And that's why this strategic move that we've now seen come from Grijalva and from the state of Arizona is so noteworthy. So what is it? A federal lawsuit. And a doozy of a federal lawsuit has been filed. It's a 17-page federal lawsuit that's been brought where? In the District of Columbia. And I have the lawsuit up, and we're going to put it up for you now. And this lawsuit is brought by the state of Arizona and Adelita Grijalva as the plaintiffs. And she's suing the United States House of Representatives, Kevin McCumber, who's the clerk of the House, and William McFarland, who's the sergeant at arms in their official capacities. And the title of this lawsuit is a complaint for declaratory relief. And the short explanation of what that means is Grijalva in the state of Arizona is asking a federal judge to declare one, and let's go, please, to the very last page of the lawsuit. Where do we go, folks? We go to the prayer for relief, right? What are the plaintiffs seeking here? And on page 16 of this lawsuit, the prayer for relief is very clear. They, as in Grijalva and the state of Arizona, and this lawsuit is being brought by the Attorney General, Chris Mays, for the state of Arizona, they want the court to declare that Adelita Grijalva is a member of the House of Representatives once she's taken the oath that has been provided by law. Okay, I don't think anybody takes any umbrage with that. In fact, House Speaker Mike Johnson has conceded that she does meet all the requirements. He's just making up the bullshit excuse that because we're in the middle of a government shutdown and he doesn't actually have the House convened yet in session, he can't do it. Bullshit, like I say. The other thing that the plaintiffs are seeking in this federal lawsuit is a declaration from the court that if Johnson has not administered the oath, that it can be administered to Adelita Grijalva by any person, quote, authorized by law to administer oaths under the laws of the United States, the District of Columbia, or the state of Arizona. And they're also looking for any relief that the court deems to be just and proper. As I've explained to you before here at the channel, that language, whatever the court deems just and proper, is kind of catch-all language that's included in lawsuits. So let's really quickly walk through some of the critical language that has been included in this federal lawsuit so we have a better idea of kind of the argument and the positioning of the argument that's being made. So if we go to paragraph 9 of the lawsuit, it says very clearly here, as I just stated a minute ago, Speaker Johnson has acknowledged that Grijalva was duly elected and that she is qualified to serve in the House once she has taken her oath of office. And the lawsuit goes on to say that for weeks, she's been asking Mike Johnson to do his damn job and to administer the oath and to seat her consistent with United States statutes, precedent, and uniform practice. But he's refused to do so until a, quote, time of his choosing, which he now says will be when the House comes back into regular session, even though he initially said he would do it as soon as Ms. Grijalva wanted. And that was until somebody started bending his ear and telling him, you can't do that. You can't do that. Why? Epstein Files. Paragraph 11 is really interesting. Quote, the Constitution does not specify who must administer the oath, only that representatives must take it. Well, shit. If that's the case, then anybody who is qualified to administer the oath should give it to her, which is part of what she's seeking as a declaration for the court. Now, look, some people that are listening to this may say, well, why does he just get somebody to swear her in and then just let her, walk into, well, they're not in session, right? But, be in the Capitol and be in her capacity as a full-blown sworn-in congresswoman. Well, for what it's worth, she's running an illegal challenge by doing that, right? She's going to court preemptively to get a declaration from a federal judge that says, A, you are duly elected and you are a congresswoman, because B, this person who can deliver or administer oaths, they can do this. And it doesn't have to be designated to like a specific person. She doesn't have to say John Smith, whatever. I made the judge a female. Did you notice that? The federal judge just has to say that somebody who is qualified to administer oaths in the United States, DC, Arizona, whatever, that they can do it and it'll count. So this is one of those situations where strategically it makes sense. You're going to go to court. You're going to make sure that the things you're about to do have already been declared to be legal. Okay, so let's go back to the lawsuit, folks. Now, I'm going to fast forward to paragraph 15. On information and belief, Speaker Johnson wishes to delay seating Ms. Grijalva to prevent her from signing a discharge petition that would force a vote on the release of the Epstein Files and or to strengthen his hand in the ongoing budget and appropriations negotiations. Paragraph 16 is interesting too. The defendant's refusal to promptly seat Ms. Grijalva and to treat her as a member of the House injures her by denying her the ability to exercise the authority of a member of the House. To do what? For example, sign petitions, sponsor bills, obtain and provide information to her constituents about federal programs and matters pending before federal agencies, and to advocate with those federal agencies on behalf of all of her constituents. I mean, people, think about it. If you went and exercised your constitutional right to vote, and you voted her into office, and we're in the midst of a government shutdown, and there are things that she could be doing to be able to negotiate and advocate on your behalf, but because Speaker Johnson can't get out of the fucking way, wouldn't you be upset? I mean, think about it. One man has single-handedly disenfranchised 813,000 voters in the state of Arizona. All because he wants to kiss the ass of convicted felon Donald Trump. The defendant's refusal to seat Ms. Grijalva injures the state of Arizona, which is denied the number of representatives that they are provided for under the law. Paragraph 18 summarizes what you and I have already gone through. The state and Ms. Grijalva therefore request that the court enter a declaratory judgment that she is a member of the House of Representatives once she has taken the oath. And if Johnson hasn't done it, then the oath is going to be administered by any person who's authorized by law to administer oaths. Now, there's something else I kind of wanted to run by you folks right now, which is this. Mike Johnson has falsely claimed that he is following what he has called the, quote, Pelosi precedent. And he's citing to a time when Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House, and it took her 25 days to administer the oath of office to then Congresswoman-elect Julia Letlow, a Republican from Louisiana. Now, here's the thing that Johnson, I guess, doesn't realize that we have, which is the freaking internet. And I don't know, history. So Congresswoman Letlow at the time was sworn in a 2021 special election to fill the seat of her husband, who had died of COVID complications days before he was set to be sworn into office. The House was out on recess because of the pandemic. And so she, as in Congresswoman Letlow, was sworn in the week that the House returned to session. That's what it was. It is a completely different set of facts than what we have now. The House may not be in session, but number one, this is the Republicans' fault because they want to screw millions of Americans out of their health care and other benefits that Americans deserve and are supposed to get. And number two, there is nothing legally or procedurally that's stopping Mike Johnson from doing this. He's just arbitrarily making up shit to, scratch that itch. So this lawsuit will be addressed, and pretty expeditiously, pretty quickly, I believe. And I'll tell you right now, folks, we can call it, right? A judge is going to grant what is being sought by Congresswoman-elect Grijalva and the state of Arizona. It's a no-brainer. As we call it, it's a total layup, right? It's a layup. But once again, two things before you and I part ways. Number one, the Republicans always have to make it more difficult than it has to be. And I don't know if they think it's cute or funny, but it doesn't escape our notice that the things that should have been done, that haven't been done, that can be done, that they're refusing to do, we have long memories. And number two, for what it's worth, I hear you naysayers and I read what you write, and I got to tell you, where is the place that people have been going these days to find justice? It's been the courts. So for what it's worth, our courts, our judicial system is still the place where people are going to find solutions and to find justice. So that's why we have to continue to shout from the rooftops about the importance of the rule of law, norms, and institutions in the context of our legal system. That we have to, laud the judges, the prosecutors, the lawyers, the people that are doing the good things, the right things, versus those enablers that we talk about all the time, the law lackeys. I'm rooting for you, Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva and Attorney General Chris Mays. We all are, because all you're doing is seeking basically what you're legally entitled to get. I'll see you later. Katie Phang here. We launched the Katie Phang News Channel in partnership with the Midas Touch Network so we could bring you the latest in legal and political news. Straight, no chaser. So if you're a fellow truth teller, hit that subscribe button and share the word about this channel so we can build a high information America together.